Hello everyone. So today we have already gone through these three compound formulas, and we have done some easy level questions and a part of medium level questions. And today I'm continue to do some medium level questions and some hard level questions, and I'm going to start a new topic today. And now let's try another question that is medium level, which I think it's not really difficult. So the question is cosine bracket a minus b is equal to 3 cosine a plus b, and find the exact value of tan a times tan b. Okay, so now let's use our compound formulas to solve cosine a minus b and a plus b. So cosine a minus b, we know that this is equal to cosine a cosine b plus sine a sine b. And the cosine a plus b is, here it becomes minus, which is 3 cosine a cosine b minus 3 sine a sine b. And so now let's simplify this, which becomes 2 cosine a cosine b minus 4 sine a sine b is equal to 0. And now we can divide this 2. So we got cosine a cosine b minus 2 sine a sine b equals 0. And now let's divide it by cosine a cosine b on both sides. I mean cosine b. And now this will becomes 2. Because cosine a cosine b over cosine a cosine b is equal to 1. And minus 2 sine a sine b over cosine a cosine b is equal to 0 again. Well, for this is true, we need that cosine a times cosine b is not equal to 0. And if they are equal to, if cosine a times cosine b is equal to 0, then one of cosine a must be equal to 0. So which means a has to be equal to 90 degrees. And we know that tan 90 is equal to mass error, which does not exist. So this means that cosine a cosine b equals 0 is not true. And so we can divide cosine a cosine b straightforwardly. And now we get this equation. And we know that tangent a is equal to sine a over cosine a. So we can change this into 1 minus 2 times tangent a tangent b equals 0. So that is what we want, because we want find the value of tan a times tan b. And now we just simplify this, which becomes tan a times tan b equals 1. And tan a times tan b equals a half. And we finished. So that is quite okay, right? And now we are going to the hard level question. Well, don't be afraid of this question, because I think it doesn't require a lot of steps and knowledge. It just needs some algebra manipulation. So it's given that, and let's find an expression for cosine x minus y in terms of p and q. The first step, when we saw this cosine x minus y. And here is single angle and here is compound angle. So what should we do first step? Of course, we should expand this into single angle as well. So let's expand this, which becomes cosine x cosine y plus sine x sine y. So we want to find this value. And now let's consider about cosine x cosine y. So how do you think we can obtain cosine x cosine y from these two, so one of these two equations? Well, we know something like, we know that a plus b bracket squared is equal to a squared plus 2ab plus b squared, which in this equation we have times here. So why don't we just bracket square on both sides? Then we can get 2 cosine x cosine y, and that will be easier. So let's complete this. Let's square both sides, which becomes cosine x plus cosine y bracket squared equals to q squared. And now let's simplify this, which becomes cosine squared x plus cosine squared y plus 2 cosine x cosine y equals to q squared. And now we learned this in AS that cosine squared x plus cosine squared, sorry for that. And then we do the square for sine as well. So we do sine x plus sine y bracket squared equals to p squared. And now we have sine squared x plus sine squared y plus 2 sine x sine y equals to p squared. And now we know that sine squared x plus cosine squared x is equal to 1. So which means if we add both of the equations, then there are many terms that we can cancel. So let's add these two equations. And we can get something like sine squared x plus cosine squared x plus sine squared y plus cosine squared y plus 2 sine x sine y plus 2 cos x cos y equals to p squared plus q squared. And now we know that this is equal to 1, this is equal to 1, so we get an equation which is 2 plus 2 sine x sine y plus 2 cosine x cosine y equals to p squared plus q squared. And let's divide it by 2 on both sides, which becomes 1 plus sine x sine y plus cosine x cosine y equals to p squared plus q squared over 2. And we put this 1 onto this side, which will becomes minus 1. And we have done this question because this question is just asking what is, find an expression for that in terms of p and q. And we achieved it. It is in p and q. So this is the answer. And we have done. Yeah, that is not that like this. It is complicated, but I don't think you need a lot of knowledge because you can just use all of the knowledge you learned before and you can solve it. It just requires some more algebra skills. Okay, so now let's do the new topic today, which is trigonometry part 4. And we are going to do double angle formula today. So these are the 3 formulas that is same important as the compound angle formulas. But I think if you understand compound angle formula like completely, then you will find these 3 are very easy. So now sine 2a is congruent to 2 sine a cosine a. We can prove this quite simple by using the compound angle sine bracket a plus a. And from compound angle, we can get that sine a plus a is equal to sine a cosine a plus cosine a sine a, which is equal to 2 sine a cosine a. And now let's do for cosine 2a. We do the same thing. Cosine a plus a is equal to cosine a cosine a minus sine a sine a, which is equal to cosine squared a minus sine squared a. And we prove this. And for tangent, we still do the same thing, which is tangent a plus a and equals to tan a plus tan a, 1 minus tangent a times tangent a, which is equal to 2 tan a, 1 minus tan squared a. Now, so we can see that double angle formulas are really associated with compound angles. And so tomorrow we are going to do some other questions. And I'll see you tomorrow, and I hope you like this video. And make sure to subscribe it, okay? Yes, thank you for watching and see you tomorrow.